rant about the peasants. They have asserted their...
That raft has been very swift for TSM ever since his statement.
They have been feudal lords over the fiefdom ever since they decided to conquer the peasants. But we'll see if Counterlogic Gaming will manage to rise up and revolt, or whether or not they will continue to fall to the might of TSM, who currently have Irelia and Tom Kench banned away. Counterlogic Gaming getting rid of the Akali and the Thresh.
All right, a couple of cross-map plays being taken off the table. I always like seeing that Tom Kench ban when you're looking for a split push strategy if you're not willing to first pick it, and that has been the bread and butter of TSM with this Broken Blade Akaadian edition. It's been a lot about split pushing, so we'll see if it does come to that. Another one that rises in priority if the game does go that way is Nocturne, of course, from the jungle. You can have a lot of that extra support for picking off solo laners when they're a little bit too far up.
All right, final bans. Jace, Galio off the table. TSM get first pick here or this time around. Let's see what they want to go for on this one. 10-5, their current record. Looking pretty good here going into the last week of play, but would like to look as good as possible. Finish this one out even stronger. Grab that 13-5 overall record. Remember, this is a team that had their worst year in organization's history last year. For the first time, not only not making it to the finals of playoffs, but getting eliminated even earlier than that. Really looking to bounce back this time around. So far, they've had some impressive plays this split with the addition of new members to the roster, and would love to finish this one out strong.
I like this here. Smoothie has been such a standout player for TSM, especially in the last few weeks with this addition of the roster. CLG threw 2 bans at him with the Galio and Thresh, so they first pick him the Alistar playmaking champion. He can make the calls, he can set up Zven slash Akaadian in the bottom side of the map. That has really worked out for them so far this weekend. So it's something CLG have to keep on their minds.
CLG will grab themselves the Rek'Sai here first and foremost. They're saying, all right, you got a powerful pick in the bottom lane. We're going to respond with a power pick in the jungle. See what else they want to go with. 7 seconds left to choose that next champion. Is it going to be CLG? We usually see people look towards the bottom lane. And sure enough, the Braum.
Yeah, Braum, definitely a good answer for the Alistar. You can punish him sometimes when he comes for the all-in. You put up the Unbreakable early and then try and throw some stuns on the way out after a pulverized headbutt combo is used. Once again, Rek'Sai, the most popular of these early game junglers. After the changes to her ultimates and Prey Seeker, a lot of quality of life has really improved. That killing combination. Ooh, interesting. Another Bjergsen Lissandra. This has been something where he has really played for other lanes, I have to say. You know, people ask for it for a long time, but especially on the Lissandra, he has had very good windows where he pushes up the wave, looks for a roam, sets somebody up for a big early game play. And he has also been quite good at engaging or creating space in team fights later in the game for them.
Well, we're going to see Zven on the Kalista this time around. We got to see him pop off on that previously, and it could definitely happen again here.
I mean, this is a legacy champion for him ever since the Origin days with Mythy, where they got to semifinals.
OG Niels.
Exactly, the OG Niels Kalista has come to play in North America, and that in combination with Alistar is a classic. Knockups upon knockups, you get crazy hard engage. It's a lot of early game oriented power where Kalista can thrive on even a single item. Even before she gets a single item, has a strong lane phase, and they can look for dragon control, and a lot of the bottom side of the map should be where they want to create action.
Counterlogic Gaming is going to go ahead and grab themselves a mid laner before the second round of bans can come through. They want to put PowerOfEvil on something that they feel he can really do some real work in this game with, and that's going to be the Syndra.
Yeah, some signature champions. You think of like Orianna, Syndra, both of these ones relatively close there for PowerOfEvil, and that will have some long-lasting effects. The long range of Syndra stun is one of the biggest things that AD carry players have to keep in mind. Even though Kalista can hop around if there are things close enough to auto-attack, the long range of Syndra stun can sometimes even outrange if you don't even have a target, so you can't make use of that extra mobility, and that can really set up a big turning point in a team fight if PowerOfEvil is able to find those. Plus, you have the added benefit of if you get vision control of Fog of War, that's a great pick tool.
Speaking of range, TSM don't want to deal with the longest range AD carry in the game pretty much right now with the Ezreal. They'll take that one off the table. Ryze also going to be eliminated through bans. Zed and LeBlanc taken out by CLG.
Yeah, CLG thinking that this Lissandra, very viable flex pick. Broken Blade could take it to the top side. They can move it around, and it could be a surprise Zed or LeBlanc from Bjergsen in the mid lane. They don't want to get role swapped on here and have the Syndra having to deal with an all-in assassin.
CLG is going to respond to the power of the Kalista in the bottom lane by picking up the Lucian for themselves. Lucian Braum, one of those historic bottom lanes that has been very powerful, often capable of finding 2v2 kills without any sort of assistance from the rest of the team.
Yeah, gotta watch the side steps here, but Lucian Braum is another classic. Quickly stacks up that Braum stun. I have to say, too, the level 1 invade is a possibility with this team. All right, Nocturne locked in for Akaadian. That has been tried and true for TSM. He's gotten Baron steals with it. He's been able to really affect the rest of the map and look for a lot of high-value plays with the early ultimates.
Well, both Vlad and Lissandra can go into either solo lane here for the side of TSM. So we've got some true flex, and the Counterlogic Gaming won't really know who's going where until the dust settles at that 20-second mark.
All right, looks like we might have, oh, here we go, swap back to Neeko. Now, Neeko was hotfixed to a big nerf to the on-hit build, which is what everyone was spamming. But since a lot of the pros were spamming a lot of time on the champion during that stint where she had extremely high attack speed and extra damage on the W, they still have put in a lot of time on Neeko, and the AP Neeko build is also still viable, so it could be either one.
We saw the AP Neeko, the stats on your screen right now. We saw Neeko one time so far this split. It was played by Broken Blade in the game where TSM were significantly far ahead of Cloud9 for the entirety of the game, then through at the end. So while the champion currently has a 0% win rate, yes, that is over one game, and it was a game they were actually in control of for most of it. But as you already mentioned, this is post-hotfix Neeko. The attack speed got absolutely slaughtered. The on-hit build went from like a 58% win rate down to 49% after the hotfix nerfs. So likely expecting to not see that insane performance of when this champion was permaban status.
Yeah, very well could be the full AP Neeko, which can provide a lot of control for our team fights and does have good poke damage. The root got a very nice buff for Neeko.
It's so long now.
It's a lot easier to use. Yeah, it's long, has better effectiveness on all minions that it passes through and everything as well. So check back in on Darshan, see what he goes with. But I see a press the attack.
Yup, that is indicating on hit.
He very well could still go with this on hits, and with that rune choice, if he keeps it all the way through, which he will, that's what we're expecting, and that is a split push style that he will be going with.
We'll see how this works out for the side of CLG. Darshan split pushing, Darshan being that powerful 1v1er has worked out for this squad here before. People remember the Jacks. They remember the times that Darshan has put the team on his back, and they would love to end that, what is it, 1,064 days lost streak now that CLG has against TSM? Nearly 3 years is long enough, say the CLG fans.
1,064 LMFAO, Captain Flowers. That's a long time.
It is a hell of a long time, but TSM would like to make it even longer here. We'll see if Akaadian and Broken Blade and the rest of the TSM make it happen.
Holy moly, that is an early flash.
Oof.
That is respect to the power of level 1 invades from a team with Braum, though.
Yeah.
Many people have been on the receiving end. You get hit with that slow, they come in with the auto attacks, the sun gets procced, and then you can't flash later. So Akaadian, very, very cautious here. Flashes that thing early. They're not sure about the tracking of any of the other members. Those auto attacks can come very quickly and stack up that stun. Now it's going to be a flashless Nocturne versus a Rek'Sai. This is looking pretty good for the possible Rek'Sai early pathing here, because Darshan also gets a super deep ward that will see Akaadian if he starts on this side.
Also worth pointing out, Bjergsen is on the standard Aftershock Lissandra. Earlier today, we saw Huni play a Klepto Lissandra when he played it in the top lane.
Oh, Darshan, that is mean.
Oh, that's dirty. He's saying, look, you don't have a flash. I know you're going to be scared of this. I'm going to mess up your early clear because I'm not really losing anything by not rushing to top lane, considering you got to wait on the minions to die anyway. So a bad start for Akaadian will slow down the TSM jungle early on. And Darshan doesn't miss any experience, will miss out on a single melee minion worth of gold, but 20 gold is a small price to pay for setting behind the enemy jungler like that and setting up Wiggily to move in and take the move.
This is what I like to see. Jungling in the early game especially so much is a team activity. Darshan playing his part there to set up Wiggily for some more control. Not only is he currently taking the blue side of the jungle, but you just saw that ward on your screen there that is in the jungle, exactly right above this Nocturne, seeing him pathing through. They're going to continue to be able to track Akaadian. You can deny experience to this Nocturne and delay that level 6. Those impactful ultimates we talked about in Champ Select, those don't start coming through, then your laners don't get the freedom to move around, and it also locks down the possible roaming, really setting up for CLG mid-game.
Plus, when you're behind the curve of the game in terms of levels, that also means there's a higher chance of even once that ultimate does come online, it won't be successful when you're finally able to use it if you're not as strong as you should be, relevant to everyone else in the game. Wiggily got the first crab, Wiggly's gonna get the second crab. It's a seafood buffet for the side of CLG, while Akaadian has to go home and just grab himself whatever he can find. We'll see what the gold looks like here. Only has enough money to grab the second jungle item. Doesn't feel very great, but hey, that's the hand you're dealt.
All right, let's see what he can scavenge up then, because it becomes very hard for Nocturne to find experience. Meanwhile, Wiggily, he's keeping his camps all banked on this blue side and looking for a gank.
Oh, they're going in on the side of CLG, looking to find the kill on Zven to start things off. Wiggily gonna be taken very low. First blood over to the side of CLG is a 1-for-1. Double buffs go over to Smoothie.
That was a very good timing on the knockup from Smoothie to delay that possibility, and they almost were able to get the counter kill first, but CLG do convert. They trade flashes, and they're able to get the first kill. Darshan, though, is under attack.
Darshan on this Neeko, wanting to get away from Akaadian, coming up for the gank. Broken Blade can't go any further forward, didn't have the transfusion ready to go just yet, was in danger of potentially being taken down there if Darshan could turn around quickly enough.
All right, now it's a Neeko with no flash here. It is a vulnerable champion. We'll take another look at this replay first, though. Zven flashes away. Smoothie knows that Wiggly's coming in for it, so he flashes for the triple knockup there in turret range and gets a headbutt on Wiggily into the wall to ensure that they do get a counter kill. And that allows TSM to get those double buffs, but I have to say, still, the first blood money goes over to CLG. Biofrost,
it's on the Braum.
With Braum, was the recipient, so that's not the perfect target. But it is still a little bit extra for CLG, rewarded for their proactivity. Meanwhile, of course, because Wiggily had all those camps banked, he can return on Rek'Sai, and that's why you can see this big difference in the creep score between Akaadian and Wiggily. A lot of the early invading and the work done specifically by Darshan with the warding paying off.
And looking over here at the Neeko, for those of you who may not be super familiar with the on-hit Neeko build, you can see you don't even bother leveling up the Q early on because it's just an ability that does damage based off AP, which you don't build. Instead, you're maxing the W for the passive damage on your third auto attack, secondary on the root to make sure that you get more duration, more damage on that one since it's a primary trading tool, and you just oppress your opponent constantly with these auto attacks. That third enchanted auto does a ton of damage, and you can see just by the state of the lane right now that Broken Blade's on his back foot against this.
Yeah, and Darshan making very good use of his little timing window there, shoving in the lane, especially against Vladimir, who is notoriously weak for the early stages before you get some cooldown reduction and levels into your own Q for sustain and for trying to keep that minion wave off.
Darshan hitting level 6 on the Neeko. Pop Blossom is still a really nice tool for engaging, locking everybody down with the root, but you aren't going to get those big chunks out of the health bar that you would like with an AP build.
My personal favorite part about Pop Blossom is the smile on Captain Flowers face.
I like the name.
Every time he says it.
It's a fun name to say.
Big grin. Here he goes, a stun in the mid lane though, as PowerOfEvil tries to push Bjergsen off the minion wave. And then look at this, he's going to go invade with this jungler. Really like to see that, supporting his teammate, following Wiggily here for a power play on the bottom side. They do have access to the Syndra ultimate, so bottom lane has to be respectful.
Akaadian, one camp behind Wiggily in terms of overall EXP. Teleport going to be channeled now by TSM, recognizing they need to do something to ward away this dive. Bjergsen making his way down here is going to keep everybody safe and sound for now.
That was quite an efficient roam from Wiggily and PowerOfEvil. They pushed in the wave, so Bjergsen had to stay there and clear the rest of it, and that timing window allows them to burn that teleport. Wiggily, though, starts up the Ocean Drake. That thing slows you. It's very dangerous to get caught up in that auto attack.
Yeah, remember, Rek'Sai is one of these champions that's not especially tanky early on. I mean, you go with a bruiser build on this champion more often than not, Warrior into a Black Cleaver, into things like a Guardian Angel, Sterix Gage. But early on, this is not a champ that you want to just be sitting there soaking damage on if you know your opponents are going to collapse. So CLG will have to disengage from that one. Can't take the Drake just yet.
Yeah, you have to be so respectful of a possible collapse. Ocean Drake slow is the biggest punisher for people trying to sneak early dragons. Not only could you leash it for them, but you might die on the way out. In the end, it's a full
leash with a bonus gift. Feels extra bad, man, as Darshan will continue just farming up here in the top side. You can see him going for the Wit's End first item. A lot of time, the on-hit Neeko will go for the Blade of the Ruined King first, but when you're up against an AP champion like this, Wit's End is actually one of the most insanely cost-effective items in League of Legends once you get all the stacks on it. It's just that so few champions can actually use the stats of on-hit and magic resist and attack speed. It feels kind of wacky, but it's really good in this situation.
Yeah, Neeko, you have to be reactive with your item build. You can't just blindly follow a build. If you're playing versus a tank, hey, guess what? Blade of the Ruined King percentage HP damage is extremely useful. If you're not playing against a tank, and you're playing against some mages, well, there you go. Want to adapt your build versus what you're playing. Now, he is going to have to worry about Nocturne damage, though. Akaadian now level 6, and that AD threat is very real. Your magic resist will not help you in that situation, and his flash is still down, so they do have to play around that cooldown. TSM should be tracking these cooldowns and looking for those openings, because Nocturne's early ultimate is just so powerful in trying to get the champion going. If you don't snowball with this champion, later on in the game, it can be a liability.
Yep, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on Akaadian now that he has level 6 to see if they can cash in on that first ulti. Grab a kill with it. Bottom side, Akaadian's going down the bottom lane to set the lane gank up potentially here. But you can see CLG moving up into the river, setting down some wards, maintaining control over this bottom side area. So Akaadian's only path into bottom lane is really going to be that lane gank route.
Setting up around the Drake here, they do have the Scuttle Crab vision, and CLG should be able to retain control. Looks like maybe a ward from Smoothie into the pit, but they don't have anyone in place.
Second time's the charm here for CLG. They'll grab that one. Nice smite secure from Wiggily to make sure there was no cheeky steal over the wall. Bjergsen has his bone plating popped there by the Prey Seeker from Wiggily, and the wave is shoved up mid. PowerOfEvil will lose a couple minions, but I'm willing to trade that for an Ocean Drake any day.
Yep, CLG's so happy. I mean, early Ocean Drakes, everyone just gushes about them, right? Your laners congratulate you. Great job, jungler, you got me some lane
Oh, yeah, I'm
here.
glad I could help out. I'm glad I could do it for you guys. No applause necessary.
You just basically back off from trading champion damage, and you're able to regenerate mana and health in lane. Really does turn the way that these are going to go. But let's check back in the one-way lane of topside. Darshan's got 2 turrets chipped off this already with the auto attacks. Almost 3 already cashed in for himself. Definitely making use of the advantage over Vladimir here. Vladimir's almost to level 9 where you're going to max out your Q. And he has 2 cooldown reduction items here in the Phoenix Codex and the Kindle Gem. So now Broken Blade starting to feel what it's like to play a real Vladimir.
Play a real champion this time around.
But it's
Post-9 Vlad.
He already has to deal with so much difficulty here. Darshan's completed the Wit's End by the time he's hitting this power spike. So as long as you stay ahead of the curve here, Darshan can continue to try and utilize this advantage. And he's still prioritizing vision there. Even lost a minion to the turret in order to put that controller to make sure that TSM were not taking Rift Row.
Remember, Wit's End is a very cheap item to complete it fully. Also, that is the downside to going CDR Garage Sale, although it does provide you with that nice early cooldown spike. You don't get the bonus of having that first item fully completed in the Proto Belt until a little bit later, so Broken Blade will still be on the losing end of this matchup here for a while. Bjergsen in the mid lane on the Lissandra, continuing to just push up, maintain those small leads over PowerOfEvil, while bottom side, you can see Zven and Stixxay just staying dead even in terms of farm.
Bottom lane's definitely trading fairly effectively. I have to say the junglers also getting kind of out of control here. Very big creep score advantage for Wiggily. We'll see if they can convert on top side. Because once again, Darshan continues the pressure on Broken Blade. Chips down. One more plate for themselves. And we're only 11.5 minutes into the game. We've got plenty of time to continue to mine gold out of these structures.
Yeah, Broken Blade's not exactly the easiest part to dive, but let's see what happens here. Akaadian pops the Paranoia, but we're not going to see anything really happen from it there. Not really sure what went on, but yeah, no Nocturne ulti coming through on that one.
Well, they might fight over this Rift Herald. They've got a rotation from the supports and the AD carries here.
Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath. Let's see what happens here. Root thrown out. Smoothie caught up in that one. Shelly has had enough of this garbage. She's impatient. She's going home.
All right, everybody roams up. Double roam from both bottom lanes. CLG were a little bit slower, but it doesn't matter. They've got the early leads. That was not a bloodbath. That was a regular river bath here.
I jinxed it. I'm sorry.
Nobody goes down. However, we still have both bottom lanes swapping to the top side of the map here. And it looks like we do have Vladimir out to the bottom side first for Broken Blade and TSM. Trying to get him away from Darshan. Darshan is going to answer, and CLG want to keep the lane state the same.
Now remember, as we're going into the mid-game here, and as we're getting into the point where we might be seeing larger and larger fights, we've been talking about how Darshan is so far ahead of Broken Blade and how Broken Blade is going to continue losing this lane. But as we go further into the game, it's Vlad versus on-hit Neeko. One of them is going to be a massive AoE teamfight threat, and the other one is on-hit Neeko. So you have to remember, as long as Broken Blade doesn't fall too far behind, he'll still be able to do a lot for TSM in these teams.
Yeah, it's all about maintaining placement on that power curve. Do you slip too far down it or not? CLG continue on this Rift Herald, and second time's the charm. They are able to force TSM back out and pick up the eye.
CLG continuing to build these leads here early on. 1,500 gold ahead. Shelly picked up. Still the opportunity to use it before the turret plates fall, by the way. 30 seconds until those go down. And there you go. Wiggily recognizing the opportunity here in the mid lane. Summons up Shelly. Wants to cash in on that free 320 gold just waiting.
They don't have Stixxay though, and they're getting collapsed upon.
TSM coming in to start this one off. Smoothie goes in, looking for the pulverize into the headbutt. Going to be taken kind of low here. Wiggily going to be trapped now as the damage comes through. And Zven's able to grab a kill. He pulls the support into safety as they also rotate the top laners now into the fight. PowerOfEvil's taken down next, and TSM have found 2 kills.
Fatal error here from CLG. They move up with 4 people, and TSM collapse with all 5. They get the kill first, and they're able to take down 2 CLG members and put a stop to the Rift Herald's destruction of the turret.
Well played there by TSMs. Yes, CLG grabbed their 2 plates, but the gold lead actually shrinks because of TSM making those kills happen.
You could see TSM, they have got full vision of Stixxay showing on the mini-map up here in the top side. Lucian's up there, pings are going down. Meanwhile, Smoothie goes in on Alistar. He knows he just has to force this fight, force that engage. Bjergsen will even flash for it to make sure they get that early kill. Darshan uses the Pop Blossom, doesn't hit anyone on the backside there with Neeko, and as Broken Blade comes in, that's a huge difference in impact from the roams there. They're able to find that extra kill onto PowerOfEvil.
That's not what I wanted to see when we came back from the replay. We do have a game pause right now. We'll see what the issue is here in just a moment. But CLG seemingly making their first big error of the game there with that one, not recognizing the fact that you've got to respect it when your AD carry shows top. He doesn't have the ability to rotate mid to that fight. This isn't a teleport AD carry. He is running the traditional heal, so you really just got to play the numbers game.
Yeah, I mean, you can split like that, and you can do a 4-1 this early in the game with a marksman top if you're tracking the enemy team, but you have to do the prerequisite work. You have to ward the rivers. You have to make sure that you are tracking both the possible flanks from the enemy engagers. They did not track Smoothie. He's able to get in there, and even though it was a while for TSM to collapse, they didn't instantly have 5 people there, but they did have the important ones. Alistar, Lissandra. The 2 with super hard crowd control. They're able to lock down the kill onto Wiggily, and they use a lot of flashes to do that. Something that we've really been congratulating TSM for a lot recently in their play. CLG, though, still in a good spot. They are ahead because of all the turret gold that they have been able to get.
7 plates equals 1,100 gold advantage for CLG just through those. Update for those who were wondering, the pause was due to a monitor issue for Bjergsen that has been resolved. As you can tell, we're back onto Summoner's Rift, and CLG are starting up their second elemental Drake of the game. TSM, after that last win, we'll see if they want to make a fight for this, but Smoothie still has no Alistar ultimate. Bjergsen no Lissandra ultimate either, and with those tools not available, that means TSM doesn't want to go for the fight here just yet. CLG looking to start things off, though. There goes the calling, and he'll take him down.
Yeah, that's too close to the fire there for Akaadian. They don't want to start the fight, but CLG are going to force it on. Stixxay now, not here on your screen. It's Darshan.
Bjergsen gets himself away with a well-placed claw. Darshan will root him up there at the very end, but not enough time to really add any extra damage to that one. Darshan being a part of the CLG squad in this bottom half of the map means it does give Broken Blade some time to farm up there in the top lane. Let's see if Wiggily makes a dive here on bottom side. Stixxay and Biofrost with control over the bottom lane, continuing to put damage onto this tier 1 turret. Despite all the plates CLG took, they still never got a completed turret. That means turret first blood still on the table.
Bottom lane definitely a focus area for that as well, and Akaadian is trailing here with the Nocturne, threatening the ultimate, so CLG should be very wary of a possible engage. Kalista, Alistar, so much CC, they can force it themselves, even if CLG don't go for the dive. So it's very smart for them to back off here. They go with the recall and reset.
At the same time, TSM don't have vision on everybody from CLG, so they back away. And let's take another look at how this kill happened.
All right, Akaadian just trying to walk up a little bit too close. Even with the extra move speed there from the Q, spell shield goes down. Stixxay is able to get off the ultimate, and they secure that kill.
Flash in from Biofrost for the auto attack to start stacking the passive because he knew that his opponent could spell shield the Q. Big brain coming out there from him to make sure they could get the follow-up into the stun, into the damage, which is exactly what they did. Second kill of the game for CLG, 1,500 gold ahead of TSM still. They've got this mid lane turret down to almost nothing. Bottom lane the same. Darshan versus Broken Blade. The 1v1 continues. And Darshan continues applying the damage to him. Press the attack plus those third autos. They're so damn strong, Kobe.
Yep, and if that snare lands, that's a dead Vladimir. Nice proto belt there by Broken Blade to dodge it, but Darshan continues to flex his muscles on that top side of the map. Meanwhile, we've got Biofrost and Wiggily working together to keep their vision up deep in the TSM jungle. They need to keep track of this Nocturne, looking for that counterplay from TSM. If they're able to avoid that, then CLG can move in and finish up those towers you're talking about. With the first one falling mid lane, that means that pushing up and replacing all these wards will be a lot easier for CLG.
And it is 4 men bottom side from the side of CLG. They're going to notice that Akaadian is top as soon as he shows up there to help Broken Blade try to take this turret down. Darshan's not going to go up there because he knows that's a death trap to walk into those two. It's going to be a turret trade, 1-for-1, top versus bottom. TSM grabbing the top lane, tier 1, CLG getting the same thing bottom side as they'll continue pushing up now with Stixxay and Bio.
Yeah, gold being traded here once again. CLG will be able to take a little bit of extra red buff steal away. And all their wards and tunnels will be left behind. TSM to clear out. So Smoothie, time to get the clearance.
Stixxay's here, but he's still got Wiggily hanging around, but Wiggly's now in some trouble. Tries to get himself away, but he's going to be punished, and that back felt pretty greedy from CLG.
Caught with enemies all around them. Desynced recalls mean that CLG cannot defend themselves in the enemy jungle. And Akaadian doesn't hesitate, pops a paranoia, and picks up another kill for TSM.
Akaadian making sure he's a part of these kills, has the stopwatch ready on this Nocturne here too, so he has to dive into a big fight. He can still stay safe in that process. Broken Blade's at the point where he's able to sustain pretty well himself, has his proto belt completed, has his Zhonya's Hourglass too, just in case he gets into a sketchy spot against this Neeko. Also helps prevent some of the physical damage she's going to be doing now that you can see her working towards that Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah, Vladimir will have a bigger impact in a 5-on-5 team scenario. However, if CLG can keep that Vladimir isolated, then Darshan continues to get to whittle away at the turret, harass him under the turret, make use of the on-hit 1v1 power of the build. So this is so much about game state and who gets to determine the positioning that you fight over. CLG trying to keep them split and isolated up there, but TSM really threatening that 5-on-5.
It's one of my favorite things in League of Legends. It's not, well, who's better, because each one's better at a different thing. It's who can make the other side play their game.
Play to your strengths.
Exactly what Mama and Papa Kobe said. Top side, it's Broken Blade, trying to hold on to this turret, doing everything he can, but every single wave is a few more points of damage chipping away at it, and it'll only be a matter of time before Darshan's able to clean this one out up here. Fortunately, he doesn't have incredible insta-kill wave potential. since he's not going the AP build, so it means that Broken Blade does have a moment to breathe in between these waves a little bit. Infernal Drake spawning, CLG with 2 Elemental Drakes controlled so far, and there's Darshan taking down that turret on the top side. Bjergsen's already TP'd behind the members of CLG. This could be a big collapse. Wiggily, Stixxay, all going to be bunched up here on the ramp. It's TSM going in, looking to find the damage, able to find the kill almost immediately on the Stixxay. Biofrost going to be target number 2 now. The damage coming through, not quite finishing him off. CLG will disengage, and TSM finds their fight.
TSM displaying the importance of deep wards. Those are wards in the enemy jungle that they have no vision of. Bjergsen finds a perfect placement there for a flank with the Lissandra, and once again, pulls TSM another advantage. CLG are not resting, though. They are continuing to push these minion waves up. Darshan got that secondary turret. He's getting some damage down onto this one.
Wiggily and PowerOfEvil rotating over just in case TSM tries to collapse on this. Want to shadow Darshan, protect him here. Wiggily coming in, looking to make some sort of a play happen. Broken Blade going into the pool, keeping himself safe. Has transfusion ready to go, not able to get in range to pop that one onto Wiggily. Darshan sends in the clone, says, hey, I'm going to spook you with this real quick. And then Broken Blade.
Yeah, that only works like one time. Yeah. Played it against Neeko one time. Pretty much there's no situation where a champion like that is just going to run straight into your team.
Oh no, he's inting me, what do I do?
Yeah, at first you're like, wait, what's going on? And then you, oh yeah, playing against Neeko, not too crazy. It's going to be a reset after that though, and what a stabilization we've had from TSM. Take another look at this Infernal Drake. Controller does go down. CLG have no idea that Bjergsen got off that super deep ward until now. Rek'Sai does see with the extra ping going down there, but it's too late. Bjergsen's already in with the flash. And that Nocturne, Lissandra, and Alistar combination has done so much work for TSM as they quickly find the kill and then pick up the objective afterwards. So CLG, let's see if they can get right back out to it. Darshan does still have his teleport on the Neeko. He's been able to finish Blade of the Ruined King in addition to that Wit's End. So he definitely has huge impact with the on-hit. And we'll see if he's able to continue to output pressure and split TSM apart.
And while Wiggily has built himself up a very impressive farm lead over his opponent, died quite a few times here as well. Broken Blade taking a lot of damage from Darshan. These autos and roots coming out, forcing out the Hemo Plague from the Crimson Reaper. As Broken Blade's gonna have to just take the opportunity to heal up here off of those Krugs, and Darshan will back away.
Nocturne, as we mentioned in Champion Select, is one of the biggest checks to a hard split push strategy. Even if it's just a 4-1, your 1 has to be careful about paranoia. It's a reason for the name. You can't press up without tracking that champion.
That's true.
Because you will get 2v1'd, and then it'll all be all about the outplay. Can Darshan actually 2v1 with the gold lead that he's accrued? Doesn't look like with these couple of items that would be a possibility.
You can see there comparing the two junglers here on your screen. As Akaadian has been a part of more plays for TSM. Wiggily died multiple times here for CLG despite getting that farm advantage through his early game lead that he got through top side there, forcing Akaadian away and getting those crabs. As Smoothie now going to be eating some damage coming out from Stixxay. The full calling nearly finds him, but Zven with the clutch save.
Yeah, he eats a lot of them right there. About every last one. If he ate one more, he was going down. They do eventually burn that Fate's Call, though, and it's a huge teamfight cooldown for TSM. Maybe CLG want to press that opportunity, knowing that that big ultimate is not available to save Alistar. What will they do with that opening?
Well, Darshan's going to just continue using this opportunity, saying, okay, I know that these guys don't want to fight in a big group now. I'm going to keep applying the split push pressure. Don't worry about it. CLG just also have to continue to respect the fact that Darshan is alone down here. They don't want to leave him to have to deal with that Nocturne if they can help it. Akaadian, once again, moving towards this bottom side, and there you go. It's Darshan in some trouble. Look at the damage Akaadian's able to do, flashing after him. He's able to get the fear. Pop Blossom comes down, but it will not matter. See you later, little Neeko. The burn almost does it. Oh, the Hemo Plague is down, and Akaadian says, I'm not giving you the fadeaway kill. I did all the work.
Not enough paranoia on the side of CLG, and Akaadian is finally able to pin down that split pusher. and the tables have turned. TSM now with 30 seconds with no Darshan on the field.
I mean, when you look at the itemization for Darshan and what kind of a champion he is, he's a ranged damage dealer with full damage itemization. It's like Nocturne jumping onto a lone AD carry. This is Nocturne's dream situation. You want to go for that ulti every chance you get.
Definitely true, and they're able to find it here. Will CLG be able to reset, though? 10 seconds left on Darshan, and the Infernal Drake is the next one that will arrive. 37 seconds left on this. Control Ward should be going down. You can see already Broken Blade behind the Dragon Pit trying to get TSM a bit of a head start.
All right, TSM with one Infernal already under their belts means grabbing a second one would be a very large damage bonus for a team that has a high damage jungler and top laner, along with the traditional mid and AD carries. Broken Blade going into the Sanguine pool there to make sure he doesn't get tagged by the Winter's Bite as CLG will all head over towards the Drake Pit. We could see a real 5v5 here, Kobe.
We're going to see Darshan try and push this lane into bottom as quickly as possible while the other members are keeping TSM pinned in this. There's 5 TSM members mid.
Smoothie loses half his HP to Wiggily, but now Wiggily might be in some trouble. Goes into the ulti, trying to buy himself some time. Stasis now going to be following that one up. Biofrost and Stixxay coming in to keep the jungler alive. Broken Blades there. Sanguine pool into the Tides of Blood, and Bjergsen grabs the kill. Wiggily taken out. Smoothie taken very low, but CLG's in some trouble. TSM are finding health bars all over the place. It's Bio down. It's PowerOfEvil into the stasis. It's Darshan not able to buy the time. PowerOfEvil's out of there, and there comes TSM.
They have done it! That is a full ace for TSM, and that means Baron plus Infernal Drake, they can take their pick.
What was Wiggily doing? He's trying to trade onto Smoothie, thinking he's alone, but the rest of TSM is right there, and Smoothie can set up the play. They force CLG to try to save their jungler, and that is a critical error from CLG that TSM is now incredibly rewarded for.
Don't get another chance at that one. We always hype up how hard it is to execute a split push. 4-1, the 4 players in mid have a very difficult job of not getting engaged upon while you're getting your split push pressure. You cannot overextend. Here's how it happens. Wiggily goes in onto Smoothie, trying to chunk out this Alistar, but hey buddy, you've been able to chunk down this support. You've got no friends around you to follow up, and even with the stopwatch, Broken Blade flanks around the outside. He's able to cut it off. Bjergsen slides in for the kill. And with that, TSM also forced the teleport from Darshan. Then they follow up the hard engage. Bjergsen still had his ultimate. Akaadian went right in there on the Nocturne, and a Guardian Angel is going to bring him back up. Zven kites around the edge of the pop blossom very effectively there, and they finish off the dive.
And there is the perfect example of what we talked about earlier, where yes, the Vlad is going to lose 1 versus 1. Yes, he has no fun playing League of Legends right now, but once you get into the team fights, it's on-hit Neeko versus Vladimir, and there is a clear difference. Broken Blade with a triple kill in that fight, 4-0-3 now on this Vlad. 3-item power spike, headwear on, AP in. This guy is a force to be reckoned with.
It's such a fine push and pull to compositions like this. And right now, the push is getting pulled.
The push from TSM onto that split pusher yet again. Paranoia comes through. Dustblade on Nocturne means even more damage, and Darshan is out of there.
That looks like they've just lost control of the game plan, because with your push and pull, you know, in your 4-1, you have to have pressure in multiple areas for it to be effective. Nobody else. You can see the minion waves for TSM had been pushed up in mid and bottom, so nobody else could exert any pressure of any kind. And that is an easy choice for TSM to pick up the kill on Darshan before heading to the top side with the Baron buff that will eventually result in some tower destruction.
TSM with 3 turrets under the belt means all 3 inner turrets still standing. That's free money to take with the Baron buff still on for another 90 seconds. Darshan will be respawning in about 4 here, so TSM will have to respect the full numbers of CLG in just a moment. But for the time being, they can push down this mid lane tier 2. Demolish proc's gonna help Bjergsen do that. One more auto attack will make it happen. Broken Blade is the guy CLG are trying to jump on, but he's immediately turning around with some damage onto Wiggily. He's blown up before he's able to keep himself alive with the stasis. That's a pretty big kill coming out now for CLG. Can they find anything more? Winter's Bite tags Akaadian, but TSM disengage in time.
Very good quick play there from CLG to be able to get a kill, but as you said, TSM can back off afterwards. Even though they lose their Vladimir, it is a reset. That Baron and Power recall is getting everyone out safe as well. So CLG, while they do pick up one counter kill, they're still reeling from the past couple of minutes.
Take another look here at that pickup that they got in the mid lane in just a moment, but CLG are at least happy to stem the tide for now.
All right, here's another look at it, and I do like the initiative here taken by Wiggily and Biofrost. They go for the hard engage, and from that point, you have to layer your crowd control perfectly. Look at that stun over his head. Vladimir never gets a chance to activate any of the immunities in his kit. No Zhonya's, no pool, no nothing. Very nicely done there, chaining Braum knockup out of this Braum passive stun into the Syndra stun and finishing up the extra damage.
If you miscoordinate that by even a fraction of a second, he goes into the pool, walks away, presses stasis, buys enough time for the rest of his team to swoop in and clean you all up. But it was very well done there by CLG to prevent that from happening, but they've still got a long way to go if they want to come back into this game. Remember, fighting TSM 5v5 is just really not an option at this point. You can see the gold difference graph on your screen right now. It was slightly CLG favored there for quite a while, 2,500 gold in their favor at its peak, but now we've swung into a 4,000 gold TSM lead. CLG are really gonna have to try to get themselves back through, and that's gonna involve a lot of stalling as a four-man, while Darshan does exactly what he's doing right now.
Yep, trying to split push, but again, there are another couple minion waves he's going to have to get through before they really make any ground, and TSM are at the door.
TSM going in, Bjergsen into the back line, starting things off, looking to go after that enemy AD carry. Akaadian's got the damage, shut down credit finding PowerOfEvil. Wiggily drops here now too, and that is going to be 3 dead for CLG. Stixxay barely getting himself away.
What door?
A double kill for Zven. There's no door, they blew a hole in the damn wall, and TSM will likely push for the win.
Yeah, they've got a couple of towers to clean up with no minions. They went so far into this one. TSM pick up 4 kills, and they've got a straight shot through the base.
Darshan knows there's absolutely nothing a single Neeko can do against a 5-man push. He's going to continue pushing up the top side. Broken Blade will go back to deal with him. TSM may not have the time to actually end the game right here, but they will go for the inhibitor and then get themselves back.
All right, on the flip side here, Darshan does get attacked. Broken Blade.
Stasis. It's a tricky thing.
It is. Will he go for a re-engage?
I mean,
tricky,
he kind of
tricky Vladimir. Smoothie will do it.
Stuff.
He's got
stuff
buddies
left in the tank.
If you've got a Alistar coming through with a possible combination, that's going to make Darshan back off. And we still have an Infernal Dragon on the map, by the way.
Yeah, CLG actually got the second one after they lost that fight and lost the Baron. They got back on the map first before TSM and claimed the second Infernal, so it's 1-1 for them. But
number 3 should be TSM's for the taking.
Look at the wards placed down by TSM in that bottom side of the CLG jungle. It's just 4 control wards, some sight wards there too, just all over the place, lighting this one up. Infernal Drake live, Baron in 10 seconds. TSM wisely not over-committing people towards the Infernal. It's just Zven and Akaadian taking this one down quick. Other members remaining in the mid lane to not allow CLG to rush towards Baron. All
right, now all that's left is the Baron area. Super minions are on the map. CLG have started it up, actually, trying to burn through it.
CLG seeing if maybe they can make this happen. Stixxay does shoot the blue ward, which means TSM are now aware of what's going on. Bjergsen's in the enemy base. CLG taking the Baron down very low. They're able to secure that one for themselves, but now can they get out in time? TP going to be used from Bjergsen. TSM coming in for the fight. CLG trying to get away. One teleport is completed, but nobody else is able to get back. Darshan left. PowerOfEvil grabs the kill, instantly getting rid of Broken Blade. Zven goes on a rampage. Bjergsen grabbing a killing spree down onto Stixxay. 3 dead for CLG, 1 in retreat, and Darshan just took his exit.
CLG do get the Baron at the cost of 3 members' lives, and it's up to TSM to punish them for it. They've got a timing window. 30+ seconds on all of these members is the duration that Wiggily and Darshan have to defend. They can't even attempt to do it with the 4 members of TSM running through the top side, and that is going to be another inhibitor down.
Inhibitor down, top lane, inhibitor exposed, mid lane. Nexus turret potentially under fire now. TSM with everybody except for Broken Blade, who can join the fight with a TP in 15 seconds. Darshan trying to buy some time. Zven going to be taking low. Nexus turret number 1 is already gone. Bjergsen needs one more hit to take down number 2. There it goes. Smoothie going in, able to find the CC. Look at the damage coming through from TSM. Darshan gonna be kept alive only for a moment. The roots are coming through. Zven goes into the stasis, keeping himself alive as Smoothie's going in to buy some more time. Zven gets away, and here comes Broken Blade. CLG will continue trying to defend. It's Smoothie down next. Broken Blade goes into the Sanguine Pool, barely getting himself out of that one. Akaadian pops Paranoia, but it's only to disengage. TSM will take the final inhibitor on their way out, but they still cannot take the Nexus.
Yeah, CLG are going to chase him out of the base. 3 inhibitors down, though, means that the destruction laid waste to CLG's base already. And it's just up to a reset here for TSM to return to the scene of the crime.
TSM having taken everything on the map now except for that Nexus itself. Yes, they lose Smoothie. Broken Blade's not able to get in there and find that big team fight power he was looking for with the teleport. But this one is still heavily TSM favored, although CLG hope is not lost yet. They're holding on somehow.
All right, here's another look at it. Darshan trying to fight them off, goes in, does get locked up with the Lissandra ultimate. Biofrost revives as Wiggily tries to take down Zven. He's got a stopwatch though. He's able to activate it just in time to avoid the Rek'Sai damage, and that is going to buy TSM more DPS time. Teleport does come in. CLG members are reviving though. And with the Baron buff empowering these minions, they chase TSM out of the base. They force the Nocturne ultimate. That being said, though, inhibitor destroyed on the way out, and CLG have a lot of work to do.
PowerOfEvil is really trying to get Broken Blade out of these fights. He's recognizing that they can blow this guy up. Yes, he's got a big health pool, but there's no resistances on this Vladimir, so he's very vulnerable to the damage from the Syndra. We saw him blow him up in that fight outside the Baron pit after CLG took that one before he was able to do anything again with the stasis or the pool, but it's just not enough so far. CLG still down 6,000 gold. They've got one Infernal at least.
And you know what's very ineffective? Split pushing when super minions are inside your base. It's very difficult to get a lot of value.
Smoothie's going in. Here comes your fight. They're able to find a lot of damage down onto PowerOfEvil at the start, and that is surely exactly what they need. It's 2 kills over to TSM. Make it 3. The claw comes out. Stixxay runs back. Wiggly's back into the fountain now as well. And the streak continues. TSM take down CLG.
Quick engages from TSM, turning this one around from CLG's early lead.
Quick engages, good flanks. Bjergsen always being there to make sure he's locking down that back line, applying some pressure in the mid game when things were pretty tumultuous when CLG had that advantage. And for a while, it looked like CLG had the game plan. But again, as you said, Nocturne, such an effective champion at shutting that down. And there was no way for CLG to get it off the ground the way things were going.
Yeah, not able to keep track of the members of TSM for that collapse around the Rift Herald play in mid lane. Then not able to track the wards in their jungle. So Bjergsen gets a very deep teleport off and a flank around the dragon. Some critical plays there in the mid game that were nicely pulled off by TSM. Heading into playoffs here, this team is looking so much more coordinated and definitely a fearsome opponent.
Exactly when you want them to be looking that way. As this game wraps up week 8, there's 1 week of regular play left. Now's the time to be coming into form. Now's the time to be looking like you're ready for some best of 5 action.
It's playoff time, baby.
It's playoff time here soon, and TSM are definitely looking like one of the teams that you've really got to respect if you see them lined up against you on the other end of a best of 5.
It was important for them to get this win because FlyQuest just won earlier, and FlyQuest are the ones right behind TSM in the standings. So with this win, TSM will keep that distance in their spot in 3rd.
They continue with their swift wrath, and now we're going to send things down to Pastry for an interview with the mid laner.
Thank you very much. I'm here with TSM's Bjergsen. The winning streak continues versus CLG, who unfortunately have not been able to pick up a win in quite a large number of days. But I feel like they offered a lot more resistance than maybe you guys expected.
Yeah, I think today they definitely were pushing us a lot, especially in the early game. They had a really strong early game, and then they also played well to it. And they got especially a big jungle lead, which kind of makes it hard for Nocturne to make a play once he finally gets his ulti. So it was just a really rough game for us early on, but we do have a comp where we make one team fight that we win, one explosive team kite, and then we're just going to keep kind of rolling off of that. So we got the one fight in mid, and then I think we all felt just pretty comfortable that it was going to be a good game for us.
Now, I want to take a step back and just ask you kind of about the split as a whole. Obviously, kind of a rocky start, but it's been pretty smooth sailing since then. Obviously, you're the longest time member of TSM. What has Zix been like as far as the changes he's brought to the team and what he's done for TSM?
He's been really good to work with. He I've said this before, but he's just really engulfed in the game, and he's just always talking about the game. He's not just shows up for scrims and then goes home. He's always hanging out with the players, talking about champions, matchups, even just watching us play solo queue. Or if I'm playing a solo game and Afromoose streaming, then Ziggs is in Afromoose stream and watching me play and saying like, oh, like just asking me questions and all this stuff. So it just feels like he's super engaged with the team, and he's really reliable. So I like that a lot in a coach.
Oh, thank you so much. Congratulations on your win today. Continuing the streak over CLG, we are going to throw it back to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much. Pastry time. TSM moving to 11-5. Just one game behind C9 still when it comes to that race for second place in an ultimate playoff bye. But a solid win here over CLG keeps them a nice distance away from FlyQuest as well, as Pastry mentioned, also picked up a win today.
And the streak continues for CLG, sadly.
It very much does. So, yes, the rivalry didn't come all the way back around today, Crumbs.
There's always next time.
Exactly. In the summer, it just extends. And I guarantee you they will still have the fire in their eyes to try and take TSM down once again.
Well, it's about taking down their old coach as well, right? You got to make sure that you can show Ziggs, like, no, we are better. But we're not.
Well, let's take a look at what CLG did then to try and come away with the victory today, because we saw the Neeko go to the top lane of all things for Darshan, and it was that on-hit Neeko that we've heard so much about.
Yeah, and you can see the runes. It's all kind of focused around attack speed and sustain, so you have the overheal, taste the blood, of course, Legend Alacrity, press the attack, all this stuff. And then when you get to itemization, it's a lot about going for Blade of the Rune King in Ginsu's. Some people do an adaptation and pick up the Wit's End in more magic damage matchups. But that's the idea, is that you're maxing W and E. You don't even put points in Q. Your E, the change on 9.5 that made her pretty nutty is that if it goes through any enemy, the duration is increased to 1.9 on rank 1 and scaling 0.3 per point you put into it. So you're like, screw Q, I need my W damage and my E
just to lock them in place
and
for
you
forever.
Lock them in place and you just throw it through the minions time and time again.
I will say, though, just how you mentioned in one game where you wanted to see the Tahm Kench banned against a Nocturne composition, when you're going for a split push, there's a few junglers that you just are not going to want to deal with. Nocturne is one of them. Same thing with champions like Evelynn. They just impact the 1v1 split push way too much. And clearly he's built to only play 1v1 split push. But if a Nocturne can always ruin your party, the split push is over. So you don't have that element of your comp anymore. And so you're stuck with CLG trying to 4v4 with a split push that doesn't really want to fully commit because he knows he's going to get killed.
Right. Earlier before the game, you were saying how Darshan should pick a champion he's super comfortable on instead of trying these cool-ass picks. And he busts out this Neeko. I'm not very convinced by his
But
Neeko.
was it cool?
It was cool. But I believe he had like 5 ultimates that were like really bad throughout the entirety of the game. And it's just like, where's the Jax or something that you know what you're doing?
Yeah,
Right.
Jax Sejuani, camp it.
Maybe some uncomfortability on the champion, particularly once you bring it onto the stage. You mentioned some of those kind of whiffed ultimates, and that suggests that there was some team fighting happening, which, when you've already set yourself up for a split push, is probably not the way you want to be playing anyway. But credit to TSM and the composition that they drafted. They very much had all the tools they needed to start a fight whenever they wanted, with the Alistar, the Lissandra, and the Nocturne.
And who they're playing against. A Syndra on the enemy side, you have the Neeko, not very escape focus, and then Lucian has his one dash, but he is still very short range. So if he wants to throw autos in, he has to be ready to dodge all those, engage options that are going to be coming at him. And then, of course, TSM plays well, like the flanks by Bjergsen and the coordination with the team.
What the hell is Wiggily doing? First of all, you don't do this. You're now Zanya's in placing, and then he flashed the other direction, east sideways. So this fight is already over for CLG. They need to be in full retreat mode. And I love what TSM does here. They see the opportunity. Everybody get in here. You're not going to want to miss this. Forward flashes from every member out of TSM. That's exactly the kind of synergy and commitment to a fight you want to see, because otherwise you might lose it. But this time around, CLG knows, oh crap, they really want us dead.
Pretty much every summoner spell in the game was used during that fight.
And you won and got a Baron out of it. Do it again.
Yeah. I love to see the aggression and the commitment to the fight is kind of, what you're pointing to in that. For TSM to say, we're going to take this fight, but we're also going to follow through with it entirely until the end. And so we sit with the TSM coming away with the victory today. I do want to return to the overreaction segment that we had at the very top of the day, where I threw it out there, perhaps an overreaction. TSM is the best team in the second round robin. With TL suffering a loss and TSM picking up the win today, how do you reconcile that statement?
It can't be wrong, right?
It can't be
Feel
wrong.
like we lost.
Put a
TSM
wager
won.
on. Do another dance for it.
It could be wrong.
Double up or nothing. Is that what you're saying
double
right now?
down.
I might have to pass on that one.
We'll see if it's wrong come next Sunday when they actually play each other.
Yes.
I think I'm still on the Team Liquid side, but that loss was a little scary because they were try-harding. You know, there's a lot of jokes beforehand like, oh, yeah, we're going to pick Vlad bot lane and Jensen can play whatever he wants. And then it's LeBlanc and Vayne. And
Right.
so, like, it was not like, oh, the Yorick top experimentation game. This was very much in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, and they lost it in a mid to late game circumstance, which in some ways is uncharacteristic of Team Liquid, but also where we've talked about TSM has really buffed themselves up in this split. That once they have those leads or they make it to the team fight phase, that's where they can really start to control the pace of the game.
Right, and earlier in the split, they were talking about how they want to practice their mid game, they want to practice their Barons, and the Baron in the mid game is actually pretty good now. Like, they spent a couple losses trying to figure out how to do things, and now they know how to do them, and now they're forced to be reckoned with.
Come full circle and just at the right time at the end of week 8. Only 2 games remaining in the regular season for each of our teams, and with only 1 more week left to go, let's take a look at that playoff race. 4 playoff spots are snatched up with only 1 bye acquired as of yet, leaving the final 2 spots to Golden Guardians, Counter Logic Gaming, Echo Fox, Optic, or Clutch Gaming. It's a lot of teams still in the race for the final 2. Let's check back in on those predictions, though, for the day. And High comes away with that clean 5-0.
I caught up the stats.
I was going to say, I don't care that I have to dance. High is tied stat spot, which is all
good.
cool with me.
Our goal is we need to beat that spot.
Can finally get above machines.
It is a tight predictions race, though, with you only sitting 1 behind there, Mark. So 10 games left to predict. Who knows about
I'm not going to do what I did versus Jat.
And int it in the final week?
Last week, I think it was last play, I was 1 game behind heading into the final week, too, and I was like, all upsets.
Everything that he didn't predict, I predict. Yeah, exactly. Crumbs.
Yes, that.
You've had a couple weeks here now with us. How do you feel about the predictions race as you kind of get to sit on the outside looking in? Do you have faith that Mark can pull it back, or do you think High is going to run away with it in the final?
Well, High.
This is the ultimate prediction.
High
Who's going to win the prediction race?
Ballsy moves today. Calling FlyQuest against TSM. I gotta go with High at this point because I'm gonna dance because he won.
You're right.
I don't know what else he's gonna make me do.
Don't upset him anymore.
Exactly.
All right, well, this week's games didn't just lock playoff spots. They also delivered some LCS big plays, as called out by you, our fans, on Twitter. So first up, Blender Lol declared that the Team Liquid and FlyQuest game was the most fun he had watching LCS all year.
I'm no smite up.
I got him.
Okay. Yeah, we can go back
yeah,
to the pit.
yeah,
Yeah, watch.
Look at the fight, look at the fight.
No smite. No, just play the fight.
Look at the fight, look at the fight.
Play the fight. Cannon. Nice. Guys, let's reset. Let's go.
I didn't even realize this at the time. They had no smite doing that thing, so that's what made them do the Baron so well. If you just think we don't have smite, but we're in this situation, now handle the Baron. You're like, oh, we gotta address the jungler, address the team fight, right? You gimp yourself,
Big brain.
you learn
I
everything.
thought it was really funny because I heard Turtle say, look at the fight, and everyone else is like, no fight. And that's just a Turtle thing to do.
The most Turtle mindset. Next up, CL Primus wasn't surprised with Phoenix's game, stating it's like Azir is his signature champion or something.
Final hour pop there for Sneaky. Spence going in the back. There's a good Galio, but I don't know if they can get enough here. So it's going in the backside as Phoenix able to get that kill onto Rek'Sai. Fox may just be too strong, but Sneaky still alive, shooting in the fight, but needs to get the kills on key member Solo, living for a little while longer. Phoenix still alive as Sneaky tries to dodge around it. Phoenix able to grab the quadra kill, and that's going to give Fox the victory.
Cover for this way.
They're going. I'm on. Hey, Akali's gonna be really low, okay?
Leave it. If you do well.
Watch me.
Watch train.
Hey, look at the vein, okay?
Watch train. Main's only threat.
Look at the vein.
We cannot.
Look at the vein.
Nice. Guys, good shit.
I think I took one of your kills, Phoenix.
It's okay.
Oh, you took all of mine.
I think Azir, that was like Azir's wet dream right there. If you watch that fight, he's just chilling in the corner, has like 4 soldiers up, and he's just stabbing people over and over. And then he gets like hit like once. I'm like, he's having a good time. I'm not surprised he got a quadra there.
And it's against C9. Like, it feels like that upset has kind of been overshadowed today with FlyQuest beating Team Liquid, but that was a huge win for Echo Fox. It basically kept their hopes alive for playoffs.
It was the first game that snapped their 6-game lose streak and started their 2-0 for the weekend again over a very big team. I'd be curious about this stat, and maybe Jat will help us out with it next week, but player with the most quadras on a single champion. because we at least know that Phoenix has one other big one, which was the Azir defending a bot turret against a 4-man dive way back when. I would just be curious to know which player has that record in the LCS. But finally, Stephanie Rosales celebrated with Team Liquid, saying congratulations to Jensen on his 1,000th kill yesterday. Here's to a zillion more.
I'm moving too.
Pretty good.
Ellis, I'm going Ellis.
Inside.
Double root into the double stun by Jensen. TL answer in kind. And that's Jensen's 1,000th kill.
1,000 kills for Jensen in the regular season. One of the most successful mid laners of all time here in North America.
I really like that flash over the wall. He saw double buffs and a double kill. He's like, I want these double buffs. All right, left my mid lane. I'm going to get them. So he just flashes over the wall and takes the kills for himself.
You have to make the journey down to bot lane worth it.
I don't know if this is experience, but I feel like mid laners usually kill junglers. Like, that's just their go-to free kill. It's a mid laner and a jungler.
That's like the most kill interaction where mids kill junglers versus like junglers kill supports.
I think it's the other way around, too.
Well, jungler ganks Syndra. Syndra kills jungle. That's right. That's how it works.
Perhaps the two lanes that interact the most when it comes to kills and deaths. Either way, keep those tweets coming, especially as we ramp towards playoffs, so we can gather the big moments that make this split worth watching. It's time for us now to send it over to Freak for the LCS cooldown, though.